Israel's government is accused of arming an ISIS-affiliated gang in Gaza to bolster opposition to Hamas. The country's opposition leader and former defense minister Avigdor Lieberman says Israeli forces, under the prime minister's orders, are giving weapons to crime families in the Palestinian enclave. Netanyahu's office has not denied these claims. Several Israeli media outlets have identified the group in question as Abu Shabab, run by prominent clan leader Yasser Abu Shabab. The militant group claims to oversee humanitarian efforts in Rafah, but have been accused of looting aid trucks. Its members have also been linked to fighting with ISIS groups in neighboring Sinai. Last week, Hamas released footage showing it was targeting members of the group, accusing them of collaborating with Israel. Speaking to Israeli media yesterday, former defense minister Avigdor Lieberman accused Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu of arming the gang without cabinet approval.
פתאום מדינת ישראל מחלקת נשק לכל מיני חמולות, כמו חמולה שאלו סלפיסטים, מזוהים עם דאעש, הם מקבלים נשק ממדינת ישראל. זה טירוף מוחלט. אני לא בטוח שזה עבר קבינט, וקבינט אישר את זה. אבל לא ברור לי מי החליט.
אז זהו, החלטה של מי?
ושתבין, נתניהו, כמו שפעם הוא ניסה לבנות משקל נגד רשות הפלסטינית חמאס, עכשיו הוא בונה את דאעש כמשקל נגד חמאס בתוך רצועת עזה.
This morning, the Prime Minister's office released a statement saying, quote, Israel is working to defeat Hamas through various means based on recommendations of all the heads of the security establishment. The accusation adds weight to the claim that Israel has attempted to disrupt and sabotage the distribution of aid in Gaza. Meanwhile, the controversial U.S. and Israeli-backed initiative, the Gaza Humanitarian Foundation, suspended all aid for a second day, just 1 week after they began operations. More than 100 Palestinians were shot and killed over the last week while queuing to collect aid boxes at the poorly managed sites.
Yesterday, the US vetoed a UN Security Council resolution that would have called for an immediate, unconditional, and permanent ceasefire in Gaza and complete and unrestricted humanitarian access to the Strip. All 14 other members voted in favor of the resolution, which would have also seen the release of Israeli captives held in Gaza. It's the 6th resolution the US has vetoed, calling for a ceasefire in Gaza since October 2023. Washington said this latest resolution undermines ongoing diplomacy to resolve the conflict and claimed it, quote, draws false equivalence between Israel and Hamas. But condemning the veto, China's ambassador Fu Kong said Israel's actions have, quote, crossed every red line of international humanitarian law. Yet, due to the shielding by one country, these violations have not been stopped or held accountable.
Now for an exclusive story. The British government believes Amal Clooney could be sanctioned by the US over her role advising the ICC on their arrest warrants issued for Israeli leaders. Multiple sources within the British government told MEE that last week, the Foreign Office's legal directorate listed the prominent human rights lawyer as being potentially at risk of US sanctions for being part of an independent panel of legal advisors convened by the ICC prosecutor. Last November, Karim Khan announced that the ICC is issuing arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and former Defense Minister Yoav Gallant on charges of war crimes and crimes against humanity. In response, the Trump administration imposed financial and visa restrictions on the ICC's British Chief Prosecutor Karim Khan. In a statement published by the Clooney Foundation for Justice, Amal Clooney said she served on the panel because she believed in the rule of law and the need to protect civilian lives.
Every year, millions of Muslims from across the world gather in Saudi Arabia to perform Hajj, an annual Muslim pilgrimage. One of the largest gatherings in the world, more than 2 million Muslims from around 188 countries took part in the pilgrimage this year, which began on the 4th of June. Today marks the second day of Hajj, the day of Arafah, when pilgrims arrive at a hill known as Mount Arafat and pray for forgiveness. It's the climax of the spiritual journey of Hajj. Hajj culminates with the 3 days of Eid al-Adha, which will commence tomorrow. This Eid is the second of the 2 Eids in the Islamic calendar, and pilgrims and Muslims across the world sacrifice an animal or pay for it to be done in their names and distribute a portion of that meat to the poor. The Hajj season coincides with the summer months in Saudi Arabia, and each year many struggle with the heat and demanding physical toll of the journey. Saudi authorities say they have stepped up precautions to prevent heat-related deaths after 1,300 people died in last year's Hajj.